player's duty is to score as high as possible by hitting the balls to the designated target areas. Be aware that a ball can be rejected if it's a bad ball toss or the player is not ready. The feeder instructs the player on the rules of SSV, telling him where to stand and which target areas to hit. The feeder calls out the score, 2-2, advises the player that a bad ball can be rejected, and declares a bad ball if it is obvious that the player didn't reject it. The feeder is the top SSV official on the court and makes the final ruling if a question is raised. The scorekeeper checks to make sure the score sheet is filled out completely before SSV is started, and then records the score called out by the feeder. When SSV is completed, the scorekeeper totals up the points and records the final score.
The scorekeeper and the court official sign the score sheet.
The ball person stands behind the power line and collects the balls into the empty basket. The balls are periodically delivered to the feeder so that no SSV time is lost. The ball person must not attempt to catch the balls hit, rather letting them go to the back fence before picking them up. Otherwise, the feeder cannot see where the second bounce occurs. The three-part SSV score sheet is an official record of the player's score. First copy is for official SSV records, the second copy for the tennis director, and the third copy for the player. Player fills out the personal information. Players must fill it out completely and correctly to ensure accurate records. The scorekeeper records and totals the score. The scoring area has rows that indicate the stroke being scored. The columns indicate the number of balls hit to target areas. For each ball scored, there are two boxes. The top box is labeled C for control, and the score of the first bounce is put here. The bottom box is labeled P for power, and the score of the second bounce is put here. If the ball hit is an error, then an X is placed over both the top and bottom boxes. SSV starts with the forehand. A total of 8 balls are scored for each stroke. The first 4 balls are cross-court, and the last 4 are down the line. For the serve, a total of 8 balls are also scored. However, since there are 4 target areas, only 2 balls are scored for wide deuce, center deuce, wide ad, and center ad. For each stroke, the top row marked C is added up, and the total score is entered in the column marked control. The bottom row marked P is also added up, and the total score is entered in the column marked power. The total control and total power score is added together and entered in the row for that stroke under the column marked SSV score. The errors are totaled and entered into the column marked error. Note, the number of errors is not added or subtracted from the SSV score. It's only there to provide a profile of the player's game. After completing all the scores in the rows, the columns are totaled down. The final SSV score is in the bottom right-hand corner. Note, remember to add the serve row to the total. Keep in mind that the score sheets are carbon copies, so you must print hard to record on the bottom copy. Make sure no extra score sheets are on the clipboard. The scorekeeper then signs the score sheet.
The court official checks the score sheet and also signs it.